Hey guys, welcome back. We are in the series called Relationship Status, and the previous session we spoke about it's complicated and how relationships get from being all perfect and somehow finding itself in a place which struggles and the status is put up, it's complicated. And so today we're going to talk about relationships. So if you're in a relationship or you have a past of struggling relationships, I know that this session will be just for you. So if you want to take some notes, you're more than welcome. But yeah, we're going to go into this thing. And I just got a few questions about, if you could name a few things, what are the things that you've learned in the past relationships or in your relationship right now? What is there that you learned that you find that these are the things that made my relationship, to grow, and there's certain things that made it, to go backwards and start to die and deteriorate in some sense. And there's something that I found that is pretty foundational to a relationship that I'm just going to mention. And I think one of the things are trust. A relationship can't grow without trust. Time. You need time. You need to put in time and effort into a relationship. And then ultimately there's a thing called sex. I think that plays a very important role in relationships. And so we're going to talk about these three things. So the first thing I want to tackle about is time. I've realized that in many relationships that the time that we put into our relationships might not be effective time. I can do, a lot of things. Say, for instance, you're working 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. You're at the office, you're at work, but you're not really working. Those days where you're working, but you're not working, that type of thing. You just like trying to get time to pass. I'm not guilty of that at all, But in many sense we can be busy, but we're not busy with the right things. We're not getting something to grow. We're just doing things. We're just busy with things that things have no importance. And that's the same within a relationship. That it needs time to grow. It needs effective time. It needs you to be in everything you do. There needs to be a reason for it. Now, I've watched, with my wife, some of these relationship reality shows. I'm not going to mention their names. There's Afrikaans one, obviously, and you might know it, where you get these girls and they get to spend time with you, and then eventually on this journey they each get one-on-one time of the guy, or the guy of the girl. And I've often watched that over the years, and it's so funny the questions that most of these guys or girls, the conversations that they have when they have this quality time alone. Like sometimes they'll just talk about the opposition and how they feel about the opposition and they're the better choice. And I'm like, how does that, mean anything? I don't get to know you in any sense. You're just trying to fight to win. This is not about getting to know me. And even in the Afrikaans one, the conversations the guys have or the girls have, it's just really, it sounds so useless. Like it's useless information. It's like, your lovely weather we've got today, hey? And the rains has been good to us. We got some long grass, hey? It's very tall grass. Is this random conversation where they actually get the time to talk to one another? They talk this random stuff, and then I'm like, how does that help you to get to know this person? If you want to marry this person, if you want to go into a serious relationship with this person, is that the kind of topics you really want to talk about? You want to talk about the weather and the gas prices and the opposition, and those things has got no value in your relationship. And so you're just wasting time. Beautiful time that you could have used to really to get to know that person. And I think many times in many relationships, I found myself even in previous relationships I was in, and that's the reason they didn't last. most likely, is the time you spent together was just wasted time. I mean, it's nice to chill and watch a movie, but if that's all you do, then how are you really getting to know that person? It's nice to enjoy, if you enjoy time with them, great. But, it's got to be a balance of, just chilling together and also really getting to know each other, because this is the very important thing you got to know. Why are you in a relationship? That is just something I've got to ask. I mean, is it because the person is beautiful and you're attracted to them? Or is it because you actually want to get to know someone because you're on a journey to spend your life with that person? You're looking for that long life, partner in your life. You're looking for that long term, that person that will go the distance with you. Are you looking for that person? Or are you just in this thing because she makes me happy and they make me laugh and it's la-di-da and we enjoy, spending time together? You got to understand that being in a relationship is a very important part of your journey in life. And you got to take it very serious. Otherwise you'll get heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, and eventually when you're emotionally ready to have someone forever in your life, then you're so broke down that you first got to fix yourself before you can actually get that person. And this is why I'm talking about this thing, time. Time spent well, you'll start to get to know someone and you'll realize, but this person, even though I love them, even though I love spending time with them, they make me laugh, I realize that their values in life is just so different than mine, and it's not going to change. And this is the type of stuff you got to talk when you're spending time together. Are you talking values? Are you, what are you talking about? Are you talking about life? Are you talking about your dreams, your future, the things you see for yourself? How you want to, how many kids you want? Important things in life. What things you want to pursue in life. Because slowly but surely you get to know, this person want to pursue some stuff that I really don't want to pursue. Really don't want to pursue. It's all cool, but I don't want to do that at all. Then you got to get out of that relationship, because it's not right for that person to put down their dreams to satisfy you. There's always a compromise. But if you go into a relationship, you got to know you're there to support that person in their dreams, in their pursuit of the things that they want to go for. It's a give and take. But are you talking these things? Or you're only realizing, oh shucks, this guy's got some weird values. It's now been a year later and only now we spoke, or these things are busy surfacing, and I've got some questions about these things. But now you're so deep in it, your heart has already been given over 1,000 times to this person. Now it's really hard to get out of the relationship, because wow, you've been in it for a very long time. And only after a year you start to see the real colors of that person. Because in the beginning, obviously you just want to show the best side of you. Come on, let's be honest, right? You just want to show the best side of you. You want to impress this person. You're opening the door for them. You making them coffee, whatever. But after time, certain things wear off, and then the real true person comes to light. And the thing is, you want to get to know the real person from the get-go. This is important, and that's why spending your time with the person that you feel you want to be in a relationship with, you want to grow old with them, then it's time to talk about the serious things. And you got to ask yourself, what are those things for you? What are things that's non-compromisable for you? Certain values, certain things that you feel like, this is me, I'm not going to compromise on it. That already eliminates a lot of things. It helps you to say this guy's gorgeous and I love him, or this girl, but it's just not going to work, because everything that I wrote down is it's a 90% no and a 10% yes. And it's not as if that those things are going to change later on. It's not. And it's not right for you to put your things, your values, your dreams one side for another person. They've got to support you in your values. They've got to support you in your dreams, like I said. And so you got to spend time, especially in the beginning. You got to spend a lot of time with that person, getting to know the real them. The real them. They get to know the real you, who you really are. Because if you're not serious about this relationship, if you're not taking it for the long haul, then it's fine. Check Netflix, chill, don't talk, just be together. And not to be a pessimist, but probably 6 to 8 months later, you won't be together anymore. It will be a devastating heartbreak because he found someone else that he's emotionally connecting with, and they got the same values, and boom, they got married. That's just the way it is. I've seen it over and over and over. And so that's why I'm asking you this question. How serious are you about your relationship? You got to spend some serious time asking some serious questions to really get to know that person. Because here's the thing is, time that is spent well leads to trust. I mean, if I spend enough time with you and I really get to know you, I'll start to trust you. I'll get to know your heart. I'll get to know your values. I'll get to know who you are. And I will find my trust in that if those things are aligned with my values and the things that I want to pursue in life. Then in that, slowly but surely, I've found that as you spend quality time together, you start to trust that person because you really know them, you know their heart. And it moves into a place of trust. Because here's the thing is, if you don't spend enough time with a person, it also can lead to jealousy. And jealousy is the thing that kills any relationship. And jealousy is the thing that kills trust. You'll never have trust. If you're jealous, you won't trust that person. There won't ever be trust in that relationship. And so your time that you spend with that person will reveal if you can trust them, or they're a very jealous person. And let me go into this. Time will lead to trust, right? I'm just going to read this. As you get to know a person, you'll automatically start to trust them. Trust is one of the most important factors in a relationship. If there's no trust, you will start to feel controlled by the person. You'll begin to feel boxed in, secluded, and ruled over. When there's trust in a relationship, there's also freedom. This is just something I wrote down, and I want to read that for you because I want to say it correctly. Trust leads to freedom. I found in many relationships that one of the persons is so controlling that other person that they control their life, their values, everything, their friends, their whole life is controlled by this one person. What they should and shouldn't and can and everything. And I often wonder, why is that? Why is that person just a control freak? But I realize that if someone is trying to control what you do, what you eat, where you go, what you don't do, they're just in a space of jealousy, very deep down. And there's a distrust. They've got issues trusting people. They've got a serious jealous issue in their life. And that's why they want to control you. And I want to say this right now. If you're in a space where your relationship is so controlled, you're even struggling to breathe. It feels like you can't even breathe around this person. You love them so much. You can't leave them. But, it just feels like they're killing every bit of who you are. I want to tell you, get out as soon as possible. That person, they're feeding on you. They're controlling you so that they can feel empowered. And that distrust, that big root of distrust, you're just helping them, feeding that distrust in their life by letting them control you. And if you're in that space where you are controlling that person, if you're the other person, you're the person that's controlling and you need to control where they're going, and you're always wondering where they are and what they're doing, and not because you miss them, because deep inside you don't trust them, or you got this fear of they'll leave you, you got issues, and you got to sort that out, because no relationship will ever survive with you being that person. A relationship needs air, it needs love, it needs trust, that things nurture that relationship to grow into something beautiful. But if you're going to keep on killing it by choking it, you're busy choking the life out of your own relationship because of your jealousy, your distrust, and maybe deep inside you've got some issues about fear of losing people. And you just got to go into your own life and sort out what's going on in your life. Why are you so distrusting? Why? Is it because of past relationships, about, your past in general, things that happened to you? You got to sort that out, because that's no way to live life. And I'm going to read the scripture in Galatians 5 verse 1. It says, "So Christ has truly set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tied up again in slavery." What does this mean? I mean, God doesn't want us to be in any form of slavery. He wants us to be free. And if you're in a relationship where you're not free to be who you are and who God created you to be, then you've put yourself into a space of slavery. And if you're in that space where you feel you got to control people and you distrust and you're on that side, then remember, God came to set you free from those things so that you can trust, so you can live, so that you can breathe. I mean, you're choking yourself. You're busy killing yourself by not trusting, but you're not enjoying your own relationship because you're jealous about things, or you got this trust issue, this fear creeping in constantly. It's busy killing you and will kill every relationship you'll ever be in, because those things are not from God. 1 Corinthians 13, go read that chapter where it says love is kind, love is patient, love is not jealous, it's not envy, it's not hateful, it's patient, it's kind, it's trusting. It's a place of freedom. If someone really loves you and you really love them, there will be freedom in that relationship to be and to live and just breathe. Breathe. And when a relationship, when there's quality time, and when there's trust, it will automatically lead to a place of intimacy. Now, I've called it sex before when I started this video, because that is what happens when you take something God created, intimacy, man and woman having beautiful intimacy. When you take that out of its context, it becomes sex. It becomes a physical thing. It becomes something you just do. It becomes lustful. Because God intended sex within the space of marriage. Why? Because marriage is that place of safety, of trust, of freedom. And you're going to spend the rest of your life, because you're married with that one person. So you're giving yourself to them. Because sex is not just a physical thing, it's more than that. It's an emotional connection. God created to be an emotional connection. And many times you'll find you have this void and you don't know how to fill that void. And that's, if you had sex before marriage, you'll find that you have this void many times. Like, you love this person, you're next to this person, even if you have sex with that person, that emotional void is there. That's because you had sex outside of marriage. Because when you have sex within marriage, that sex becomes intimacy, and intimacy fills that void. It fills that emotional void that you have in your life. Because God created that void, because He needs man and wife, to get together and fill that void. And so intimacy was never created to be outside of marriage. Because out of marriage it becomes an ugly thing. Because if you have sex with enough people, you find yourself just doing it as a physical, lustful thing. It's a need, a lust need you gotta fill. Because it became something just physical. You just do it. You just lustful. You want to do it this way, you want to do that one. It's not a love, it's not an emotional healing thing. It's not something beautiful anymore. And if you're wondering also why many of your relationships are failing, you're having sex and you're having all of these things, you're giving him what he wants and she's giving you what you want, but why is it not working out? Because you're doing things that was created for the relationship, for the marital status, for that part of your life. You're busy doing it in your relationship part. When you're in a relationship, you're still busy figuring out if you want to be with this person for the rest of your life. If you've made up your mind and you realize your values are aligning and you ticking most of the boxes, yes, get married and then have beautiful intimacy. And you'll find that intimacy does what it was created to do. Fill voids, bring the couple, bringing man and wife closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, because you're giving a part of yourself. Every time you have intimacy, you're giving a part of yourself away to that person. But if you're having it outside of the marriage, you're just having sex and you're giving away a piece of yourself, and eventually there's nothing to give, so it's just physical. And when you want to get married and you have it within that place where you really love this person, you'll find yourself, you're just doing it to fill their void, but it's not really filling your void. And your partner will start to feel that you're just doing a physical thing. It's not an emotional thing. They're not getting emotionally from you what they need out of this intimacy time. It's because you've got nothing to give. You gave all you have away. So it's just a physical thing now for you. And then what happens? That void needs to be filled. That person starts to grow away from you. Emotionally, they're busy detaching from you, because you're not filling that emotional void of them. And eventually, you're living in the same house, you're married, but there's a very big void in your life. And both of you can feel it, and you don't know how to fix it. The way you fix it is you go get back the pieces you gave away. And God is the healer. He restores. But you got to realize that you did live in sin before your marriage then. And you got to repent of those sins and ask God to fill you again. Restore your heart. Restore you emotionally again. So that you can really give your partner what they need. And God will come and restore you. He does that. That's the beautiful part. But you've got to realize you made a mistake. Back to relationships. If you're in a space where you're busy giving physical sex to someone out of marriage, stop. Stop. You are busy giving away pieces of yourself. And later on you'll have to get them back. And that most times, it's a painful process. But God can heal. God will heal. But hit the brakes. A relationship is not just physical. Physical will kill it. And so, our next session we'll talk about marriage and what God intended for marriage, and what is the certain things that you can find within marriage that can make or break a marriage, and there's certain things you got to focus on in marriage to make that thing go and grow as a success. But if you're in a relationship, there are two things you got to focus on, and that is, firstly, you got to spend time asking the right questions, getting to know the real person. Secondly, you've got to be in this space where you've got to trust that person. You can really trust them, get to trust them, and that will lead to a space where you know you can marry them or not. And so watch out in our comments. Please comment, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and if you have any questions, I'd like to answer them. I'll be putting out short little videos this week that will speak about what's God's heart, what is God's heart for a godly relationship and marriage, in terms of am I allowed to marry someone from a different race, and how do I know that this relationship is from God. And so I'm going to just send some stuff out during this week. So just check out the comments and stuff and follow that, and also just ask your questions. But I hope that this has in some way stirred some things in you that will help you grow your relationship to be successful. Because marriage is from God. Relationship is from God. And He wants to be a success and find all the beauty that it is to bring to your life, to find it in the right way. So God bless you. Keep on.